Welcome to Born for the Trades. I'm your host, Betty Bala, sitting next virtually to Shreya, my co-host.
Hi, everybody.
Okay, all right. We have Joe Crisara on our podcast. Joe Crisara, known as America's Home Services sales coach, has over 40 years of experience in the trades and has helped countless contractors achieve revenues 5 times greater than the average salesperson. He helps them to understand and utilize the principles of pure motive service, which is to connect with clients, create premium, mid range, and economy, and allow consumers to purchase what is on code for them. Not only does he scale businesses through his scientifically proven and emotionally intelligent process, but he also feels like a member of every team family, which is why many just call him Uncle Joe.
Join us as we dive deep into the world of home service entrepreneurship, interacting with industry leaders, coaches, and entrepreneurs about their experiences, challenges, and victories. Through their inspiring stories, we hope to equip our listeners with the tools and knowledge they need to succeed in the competitive home service industry. So whether you're a seasoned pro or just starting out, tune in to Born for the Trades podcast for invaluable insight and real-world inspiration.
Uncle Joe, welcome to our show.
Hey, everybody. How you doing there today? All right. Well, I definitely an honor to be here with both you and Shreya, two of the top podcasters in the entire world. So definitely I appreciate that. And thank you for inviting me here, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming.
Thanks
I
for
guess I
coming.
should add to the bio because me and Mandeep could add to the bio just in saying our personal experience. This is a very special episode because Joe is my mentor and has been my mentor, I guess, now for years. And, in the description is like turns the average salesperson and increases the revenue 3 to 5 times. That is exactly what he's done for me personally. Answered my calls at 7 p.m. when I was in the field and really put the time and effort into making sure that I'm the best performer that I could be. And I really couldn't thank him enough for everything that he's done for me, for sure. So it's very special.
Well, thank you for saying that. Of course, I said to you that the day we met, I said, you do realize you're going to be a superstar one day. This is going to be amazing, because I saw she had the level of enthusiasm and was taking action. So when we gave her assignments during that training, she came back not just with the assignment, but also with extra things she came back with, and she did the extra effort, which really, that's how I can tell people are going to be successful. Kind of a key indicator of success is the effort that people make. Make sense?
Right. And Joe, I can't articulate enough my gratitude for our friendship. I still remember that night that we were at the event at the Profit Rocket, and everything has changed after that. Like thanks. I'm really grateful and thankful for our friendship, Joe.
Well, my pleasure. And again, that night we had a lot of discussion about some improvements that I saw some approaches in your business. I was excited to help you increase your sales too. And it looks like it looks like it has increased.
It has, yeah, immensely. And that 3 to 4 hours. And I was like, we were there like till 4 or 4:30, and you were about to hit the stage at 6:30 or 7. I was like, this guy is not gonna sleep, and you were fresh.
I remember running into you guys.
Yeah, he was.
Or in the morning.
He was fresh and he was energetic. Like, what's that? Like, how do you get that kind of energy, Joe?
Well, it's just that it's a labor of love, Mandeep, and definitely, I love to see people who have a passion for service. You were literally born for the trades, as you say. So definitely, I was too, and I think I always feel when I can feel another person who's sort of like a brother from another mother, or in Shreya's case, a sister from another mother who is willing to loves the same things that I love. And I think it's like when we're all kind of like baseball fans, we all love to watch a game of baseball. And in this case, we all love to help serve other people. And the game of service, something we all love. And I've never left a conversation with a client or other partners like you. I never feel exhausted or what do you call it, drained because I feel like I'm giving to something to somebody. And so when I give to people, I don't ever feel like I'm drained or frustrated or anxiety. I always feel energized and re-engaged in a way. Does that make sense?
Positivity, right? We are spreading positivity and that aura that you have it around for many many years, and positive impact on the community. And yeah, that's what it's all about. So all right, wanna start with first question, Joe. Like, what are some of the biggest mistakes you see today in service industry?
Well, ironically, I am currently going through a situation trying to purchase, services for my home. I had both a brand new home here in Playa Vista, California, a nice new home, a 3-story home. I had a drain cleaning person come out already, and I've also had a garage door person, and I've had a heating and air conditioning person. And
Mm-hmm.
really, all three people, I had to kind of train them how to serve me because they were completely untrained, right? And some people had more of an open mind than others. The drain cleaning guy, not so much. The garage door guy was a little bit more enthusiastic about learning what we had to teach. I just want to make sure they knew how to serve me best. But when it came to the air conditioning
Mm-hmm.
people, there was definitely some big mistakes that I see people make. So after what I've really observed is overall, I think the state of the industry. I think I just think that most of the people in the service industry way overrate how good they think their competitors are. They think they are the same as their competitor. They don't
Mm-hmm.
realize how much better they are than the competitor. Because here's what I experienced. I experienced people who came out to my house who uh, diagnosed out loud and told me all the stuff they wanted to do and told me they gave me advice and things like that as a consumer. And then I asked them, well, here's the big point. After they told me the problems and they gave me advice on how to fix the problems, both from all three trades, drains, plumbing, and garage door, all three of them.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I asked a simple question, which you would think they would have an answer. And unfortunately, I was wrong. I called 3 air conditioning companies, 1 drain
Mm-hmm.
guy, and 1 garage door guy. So, and 5 different people who did this. I think I have enough. The study has been done. I'm going to conclude my study with the 5 people.
Right.
Here's what I have found is that when I ask people, when I listen to them tell me about the problems, oh, my torsion spring is broken in the garage door. Okay. What else? Yeah, the track is not aligned right. Okay. The opener is got a problem with the chain. I'm like, okay. So I'm listening to all these things, right? So at the end of
Mm-hmm.
it, I asked a simple question, which I think any consumer would ask after hearing all the problems and telling me, yeah, we need to put a new opener. We need to get this new torsion spring. We need to get these tracks aligned. They told me
Mm-hmm.
what we need to do, right? There's a simple question that I had, which every consumer would have. Which could not be answered by those providers. What question do you think it was, Mandeep? What question do you think people I had for those 5 different scenarios? After they told me the problems, after they told me the solutions, what question do you think I had?
Like they ask you.
I asked, they told me the problems, they told me the solutions. Shreya,
What's the price?
what question was it?
What's the price?
That's
What's the
exactly what
price?
I said.
What's the
I
price?
said, what's the price? And they said, I don't have the price. And I said, "You don't have the price?" And I said, if you stay here now, I said, can you stay here and give me the price? No, I gotta go talk to my boss. And so the plumber, had to bring his boss out to the call to give him a price for what we needed to do in the drain cleaning. So I had to wait another 2 hours for the supervisor to come out. The
Mm-hmm.
garage door guy had to go back and leave the job and come back in the afternoon and waste another hour of my time, another 2 hours of my time with that. The HVAC guys, listen to this one. I had 3 people come out.
Mm-hmm.
2 of them said, I'm going to email the price to you.
Wow.
I told all 3 people, I said, if you give me the price now, we are going to move forward. I said, I don't care what the price is, just give it to me now and I will move forward. Literally, all 3 of them said, I don't really feel comfortable giving you the price.
Wow.
I just want to email you the price. And
Email.
I said, can't we just give me the price now?
Mm-hmm.
I said, I want you to explain the price and what you're doing for the price. I said, I know you got the problem. I know you explained the solutions, but I want you to explain exactly what you're doing for the price and tell me what the price is.
Exactly. Same.
Zero people were able to do that.
None of them.
Not one person was able to just give me the price when I needed it. If they had so that really illustrates though the difference between good service and bad service. The one thing that illustrates good service versus bad service. Bad service is not anticipating what's going to be needed when you get to a certain point in the call. So you should be anticipating what people need before they ask you. So here would be the sequence that they should have done, which is what we teach. I assumed everybody would know this because I teach it so many times. I teach it to 14,000 students. I've taught this before, right? So
Right.
I would just assume everybody would have this. But here's what I learned. I learned that the sequence should be you diagnose the problem and you write down the solutions and you write down the prices at the same time. So you
Hmm.
diagnose the problem, you make premium, mid-range, economy choices, you put prices on those choices, and then you approach the customer and say, here, I found the problems and I've got the solutions. Can we talk somewhere? Yeah.
Mm.
And then they'd explain the problems and then they'd explain the solutions. And then they'd say, here's the price. That's exactly what should
That
happen,
makes more
right?
sense. That makes
Yeah,
more
it does.
sense. Yeah.
Well, it's interesting because everybody assumes that your competition is doing this. Like for those of you listening to this saying, well, of course, Joe, that's a no-brainer. I do that every time. See, then you don't realize that you're better than 90% of your competition because your
Right.
competition loves to email the price. They don't want to present the price to the customer. And you know why that is? Because they're afraid that the customer will get angry when they see the price. So
Right.
I would think that it could just be a technical difficulty with Service Titan. They don't understand how to price things. I could think that, but here's the thing: all five of those companies have been around for 50 years or more. You're telling me they don't know what the price is? They know what the price is. They're just simply have their mother in the truck, I call it, which is our family history,
Yeah.
which is so afraid of telling me the price that they would rather email it. They prefer to email it instead of facing the customer when they have the price. And that's the
Joe,
biggest
yeah.
mistake I see right there.
Joe, I want to ask you right here that why are they afraid of giving options or presenting price? Why? Like, what's the big deal?
Well, it's I think every service provider has the same problem. I think even in what you do, Mandeep, people who do internet stuff, it's like, well, we got to come up with a price. Maybe you do a diagnosis and do a deep dive into a company and learn about what's going on with their
Yeah.
website or their marketing and things like that. And then it's like, let's think about it. Before you learned how to do all that, you're like, yeah, they need this, they need this, and they need this, right?
Right.
And it's like, well, how much is it going to cost? I got to talk to my development team. But when you
Yeah.
first start out, it was like, when you first started out, it was like, I got to talk to my development team and figure it out. Like, so one thing it could be is just ignorance. They send the wrong person who doesn't have the price, or they're not familiar with how to price it right.
Right.
So they haven't anticipated that somebody's going to ask for a price, and so they don't have that ready to go. That's number one. Number
Got it.
two, I think, is inside somebody's heart, they don't want to face the music in a way, to have to get people upset when they see the price. They don't want to be accountable for something that their company has built. And so they feel uncomfortable as a person representing the company and the prices and try to explain the prices the company has put in place. So I think it's lack of training is why they don't feel comfortable with that, Mandeep.
Right.
I don't think they've ever practiced giving prices to somebody. And if you've never practiced giving prices to somebody, most likely you're going to suck at giving prices to people. So therefore, you're afraid of something you've never done before. It's an irrational fear
Right.
because most people would just buy if you give them the price. But truthfully, the reason why people don't do that is because they haven't been trained on how to create value at that price. And so they feel uncomfortable. So two things. One is that the company infrastructure is not set up to give a price and they're just not ready for that. Number two, it could be that the person has not been trained how to explain it and they feel uncomfortable doing that as well. So there's two things that are working against the average service provider. One is technology and having the prices ready, and one is training so I can personally be trained. And I've been through it a few hundred times before I start explaining prices, because I wouldn't want to put somebody in a position to have to explain prices when they've never done it before. It's going to be just awful to do that. Make sense?
Technology and
Makes
training
sense. Yeah.
to simplify. And how many, like a percentage wise, based on your extensive experiences, out of all the home service businesses, what percentage do you think function in this dysfunctional way that you're describing?
Well, I think everybody who has not been trained, 100% of the people who have not been trained are doing this. So all you got to do is, if you look right now in your company, everybody listening to this, am I out there emailing prices to people? If you are, then you are suffering from this, right?
Right.
Because here's the way you should do it. You should present the price and assist the customer to find the right solution. So it's not just present the price, it's also help the customer find the right solution that's perfect for their family or perfect for their company, right? So I
Right.
don't just give you the price, I help you get through the pricing to find the different elements of what I have that are going to be perfect for your family. And then when I do that, it's a simple question, which has been trademarked. What should we do? There you there you go. So the way you have to earn the right to get to that, what should we do, right?
Right.
Right.
Because you don't just start with what should we do. You got to make sure that I've created value. I've explained the prices. We actually went through it and find the things you want and things you don't want. Well, I guess we have the perfect solution right now. So what should we do? And I think I want everybody to feel an element of customization when we do the prices. Although the prices are not customized, we need to figure out which of the things we do will be perfect for the family. Let them tell us what that is. And then we get to that point where we just assist people to bring it to a conclusion of get a yes, a no, another appointment. That's really another element of service. We have to anticipate not just the pricing, but also anticipate people are going to need help to get through the pricing and find the thing that's right for them. Make sense?
Makes sense.
So I,
Yeah.
Totally.
I so I think 100% of the people who are not trained will not do it right. They're just going to email it. So which I think that will be. I think there's two groups of people. Some people who are trained on how to diagnose a system, create the options, create the pricing, and then present it and help the client bring it to a conclusion. I think there's other people who are trained on how to diagnose a system, and that's
Right.
it. And then they don't do it. They don't know how to put the solutions together. They don't know how to price it out. They don't know how to help people bring it to a conclusion, and so forth. They just don't do that. They just what's at that point you diagnose the problem
Right.
and then you email the solutions
Hmm.
because that's the easy route. I don't have to explain it. I just email a bunch of stuff out to people and then I wait for phone calls to come back in. And that is a game that's a losing game because now I'm waiting for people to call me all the time. Does it make sense?
Yeah.
Yes.
Totally makes
And
sense. And yeah.
what do you think proper training looks like on that side of things, because there's basic training, there's technical training, and then there's, group trainings where it's like a lecture and nobody retains the information. So what is, like, in your 40 years of experience, proper quality training look like?
Well, at Service MVP, we developed this app which really is interactive, right? So it's like the leader would have the students read you'd watch the video together. The leader would have the students read the questions and have the other group of students answer the question. So everybody's involved and it's interactive in the training. But here's the key thing about training. The initial training has to have graduation to pass it. But even after graduation, training continues. Like in Major League Baseball, you learn how to play baseball in Little League or in
Mm-hmm.
college or high school, and you learn how to play at every level. You learn a little bit more how to get trained before the season starts. But even when the season starts, we still do batting practice every single day, or we still we still do fielding practice every single day. So even though you have been trained and you graduated, continuing the training to make sure people stay sharp, I call sharpening the saw, is an important thing. Abraham Lincoln said that if I only
Mm-hmm.
had 45 minutes to chop down a tree, I'd spend 30 minutes sharpening the saw
Yeah.
because I chop it down in 15 minutes if I had a sharp saw. Does that make sense?
Right.
Yes.
Right. And Joe, like, so there is nothing a call like, one-time training. So this has to be ongoing training. So what's your take on that?
Without that, it gets lost. Like even selling your services, Mandeep. If I was selling website services for you,
Right.
I'd say it's not just good enough we learn how to do this. We need to practice this. We need to practice constantly. What's that communication going to sound like? Because there's a customer experience that Mandeep Bala has designed for each customer at Grow Nearby. You want to make sure that the team is sharp and ready to go on that same path. Make sense? If we don't practice every single day, like let's do batting practice. Let's see how let's go ahead and present those options today. Whoever's presenting options should be presenting those options on the website packages we have, or in our case, it's a
Mm-hmm.
service MVP. Shreya's got to practice those every day. We got to make sure behind the scenes that we're working on this to get better and better and better. Otherwise, we get stale and we get stuck. We get stuck at the place we graduated, which isn't really you're not a real professional. You're still stuck back at the rookie phase when you first got
Right.
trained, and then you're stuck at the graduation part. You have to graduate, but then there's levels of doing things better. Just like in every trade, like in when you build a website, you first did whatever you were doing when you first start out. How does it compare to what you're doing now, Mandeep, when it comes to building websites and marketing?
Right.
How
This
much
is
better?
what, like, just there are phases. Like, once the website is done, like, now the next step is like, how to rank you on Google. It's a continuous, like, process every single month.
But even you now compared to where you were before, what's the difference? Now compared to 5 years ago, how much better are you now at this than you were 5 years ago?
I would say way, way better that I look at, like, from the coaching standpoint, from the communication standpoint. I think every day sharpening my skills, what you just mentioned about that. And that's how I got here. Like, I can see myself a better person and good communicator, and yeah, data driven guy.
Yeah, I see you going to so many conferences. I see you going. You're at Gary V's conference. I saw you a picture of Gary V over there. Hollywood down there in Florida with Gary V over there. But it's cool. But but you're going to that so you can develop and you can
Yes.
get better. So you're not just satisfied with what you know.
Never.
You have an appetite to get better, and that's really what everybody needs to do is to have that same appetite to improve. Make
Love
sense?
that. Love that. Oh, love that. Like, thanks for sharing that. And what is something listeners can implement which will produce an immediate ROI effect? And please share that with us.
Well, I think immediately people can start to learn the science of pricing. So I think if you want to, I would make an offer to everybody to just get a free membership so you can at least learn the science, the very basic training course we can give you for free as to the science of pricing and how you construct the pricing. So I think that's something that
You
everybody
just
can get for
you
free.
you said free? Is it
It's
free?
it's free to get started with it because here's my feeling. Just like you do, I feel like I want to create value
Hmm.
before anybody makes a purchase, right? I want to make sure people understand what you're trying to do. It's like baseball. It's like here, borrow some bats and balls. It's free, right?
Right.
Now, if you want to get your own bats and balls, or you want to buy your own mitt, you have to go to the sporting goods store and buy one, right? So I'll give you the kids the equipment for free to play with, and then you'll learn how fun it is to play the game of the game of service is what we teach.
Right.
So you need how to learn how to diagnose and how to do the premium mid-range economy, but you need to learn how to do that before you go on your next call. You can't wait till during the call. It should have been done. Those prices should have been worked out before you got to that call. So you should anticipate people are going to need a price. So I would say if you did that, now you'd be ready to go. Number two, I would say practice five. I call 5, 5, and 5. You say it out loud and practice it 5 times, or just silently say it 5 times to yourself how you're going to present this stuff. Then say it out loud, and then say it publicly to a coworker or friend, your
Hmm.
family member, to see what it sounds like there. Say it at least 15 times before you go live with a customer. That's what I would tell you to do.
Outstanding.
Yep.
So get the pricing for free. I'll give you that for free. You have to then put the effort in to present it 15 times minimum to your friends, to yourself, number one. Say it out loud to yourself, make sure it sounds okay, and then say it to a friend 5 times, or a coworker or a family member, so you can practice this 15 times before you go live.
Outstanding. I know, like, hundreds of, like, HVAC, plumbing, home service industry contractors are listening to this podcast, and down the road, thousands. What's the best platform? Like, how to get started with this, like, free program? Like, how to get there, how to get started, Joe?
Well, if you go to servicemvp.com or just go on Facebook and you can direct message Joe Crisara or Shreya. You can talk to
Yeah.
her too if you want to.
Shreya?
And
Really?
she
My
will help you
co-host?
too.
Yeah, I
Okay.
would literally
Your
be the
co-host.
person for that.
It won't be a conflict of interest. I wound up turning it over to Shreya anyway. I wound up introducing you to her anyway. So if you want to go directly to her, that's fine. But bottom line is that, in our heart, we want people to learn. We want to improve the industry by getting this to anticipate what people are going to need. If we can just do that, move the needle a small amount, then we feel like the momentum will carry it forward. And literally, Mandeep, everybody who has learned that
Right.
little bit winds up eventually doing business with us. And the average person who does business with us does it for about 12 and a half years is our average customer time frame that they
Wow.
stay with our training, because training is something we provide and it just keeps going on and on and on for years and years. Usually the only time people quit us is when they sell the company or they do something like that, right? Or they leave.
Right. One thing that I can say is like, whatever I have seen in the last, like, I would say, 1 year, like a lot of people are ardently watching and sticking to your content, and they're taking their companies to the next level. And you have such a great heart, and the way that you connect with everyone out there and providing value from day one, and everyone on your team member. I was literally like, how do you hire such a great like team members on your team? When I met everyone at the TrueGrid, hats off to you. You have built such a great work culture, and you have great impact on the community. Keep doing what you're doing, Joe. Phenomenal job. That's
That's
what I
so
would say.
nice of you to say that. Well, the standard to work here is this has to be your dream job. And if anytime it's not your dream job, I'll help you find a different one. That's why I tell every single employee that I ask them frequently, is this still your dream job? And they say, yeah. If they don't say yes, I'm like, well, then let's help you find the one that is, because I don't want you to work somewhere that's not your dream job.
I got I got
I
the
want to
secret
work and be
sauce.
passionate.
I
That's
got the secret sauce. So is that the only question, or is there any question that you add while recruiting best talent?
Seriously, I just say, before I even talk to somebody, I say, if we did have an interview, is this a place you would want to work? Would this be your dream job to work here? Because if it's not your dream job to work here, then I would say we're not going. Don't waste your time with an application. You have to want to work here more than anything else. Make sense? That's why we are very selective. We don't just hire anybody. We hire only people who have a passion to serve other people. And if you watch me enough times, you'll see that that's what my passion is.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know it's a lot to learn from you, and we cannot have like, just like cover everything in one episode. We're gonna have like, another part two. Shreya, you wanna just share about like, coming up with the second part, and what are we looking at that one?
Sure. So on part two, we're going to focus more on service management, the history of service management, where it's at now, and where Joe predicts it's going to go, because he has probably the most experience in this area of training managers and seeing how it's changed over time, and what he thinks the most optimal position for managers to be in the future is. So that'll be a really good, exciting episode next time.
I'm excited for that. That's going to be a game changer for the listeners. Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for listening to this podcast. And watch out for the next episode, part two with Joe Crisera, and you're going to love it for sure. Thank you, Joe.
Thank you.